Greetings and welcome back to another fragrance video and another fragrance list. So having in mind that fall is just around the corner, I figured this would be the perfect time for me to make a list of 5 fragrances I recommend for the 2023 autumn season. Now I have to emphasize here, this is not a top 5 list because in my opinion, I don't think you can make an objective top 5 or top 10 list of anything related to fragrances because they are very much subjective. So this is just my pick of 5 fragrances I think will work well for the autumn season. Now there will be some designer and some niche fragrances on this list, and if I made a detailed review of the fragrance I'm mentioning, I will leave a link to the review in the description of the video, so check out the description if you want a more detailed review. We're just gonna briefly talk about the fragrances mentioned, and let's start with the first fragrance on this list, probably the most controversial pick of the list, and it is of course Sauvage, the Eau de Toilette version by the House of Dior. Now I know a lot of people don't like this fragrance, a lot of people think it's boring, that it's generic, that everybody wears it, but I think it should be included for one reason and one reason alone. It is a dumb reach fragrance, and I think you should always have a dumb reach fragrance for any season of the year. Now, even though Sauvage is a good fragrance for more or less any season in the year, I think it works best in the fall season because the mix of fresh and spicy notes in the fragrance with the beautiful, warm, attractive dry down, I think it just shines in the autumn season of the year. So that's why I think Dior Sauvage should be put on this list. So a dumb reach fragrance, you cannot go wrong with Dior Sauvage. And the second fragrance on this list, coincidentally my favorite designer fragrance ever, at least up until the point of making up this video, is of course L'Homme by the House of Prada. Now as Sauvage, this can also be worn all year round, but I think it works best in the fall season. Why? Because it smells fresh, it smells sweet. I just think it shines in the fall months of the year. It was made by Daniela Andrieri, and good job Daniela for the fragrance, and it is also, in my opinion, the best office fragrance you can wear. If you would have to describe how this fragrance smells in 2 words, it is a fresh and clean fragrance, or as Jeremy Fragrance would put it, a fresh, clean fabric softener type of fragrance. It is just perfection, and I think it will be excellent for the 2023 fall season. And the third fragrance of the list, also the first niche fragrance of the list, is Cedrat Boisé by the House of Mancera. Now unfortunately I do not have a bottle of the fragrance with me, but trust me, I do have experience with the fragrance. I even made a Serbian review of the fragrance a while back, and an English review will be coming in the future. Now this fragrance is mostly known for the fact that a lot of people used to compare it or claim that this is a clone of Aventus by the House of Creed, but in my opinion this is not the case. If you would put Aventus on one hand and Cedrat Boisé on the other hand, and you would compare the fragrances, you would know that they do not smell the same. Okay, maybe Cedrat Boisé was inspired by Aventus, but definitely not a clone of it. This is a fragrance with a fruity opening, a woody dry down along with vanilla and leather notes. It is a great fragrance for the fall season. If you want to get noticed because it has good longevity and projection, I think this would be a great fragrance for you. Now it's time for the fourth fragrance of the list, the second niche fragrance of the list, and the most expensive fragrance of the list. It is Royal Oud by the House of Creed. Now I know I already mentioned this fragrance in my winter list, but I think even in that video I stated that it still works best in the fall months, and it does, and that's why I had to include it again for this list. Now this fragrance is very nice. It is my second favorite fragrance in the collection, first one being Grand Soir, and in my opinion this is the best men's fragrance in Creed's lineup. Now it smells woody, it smells citrusy, with cedar being the main note. Even though it's called Royal Oud, there isn't really much oud in it. It's mostly the cedar note. If you want to smell classy, like a true gentleman, Royal Oud is for you, if you can of course afford it. Fifth and final fragrance of this list. Now I wanted to include something that works better in the colder days of fall, and I think Latafas Bade Oud or Oud for Glory works very good in the colder days of fall. So maybe don't wear this in September. I think wait for like November. In November you should be fine with this fragrance. Essentially this is a clone of Initio's Oud for Greatness, and a pretty good clone in my opinion. It smells spicy, it has oud in it, and I think it is a good fragrance if you want to smell a bit more unique but don't have a big budget. So this is a very good budget friendly type of fragrance where you smell unique and you attract attention, because this has a beast mode, projection, and longevity, at least on my skin. Of course I made a detailed review of this fragrance, link is in the description of the video. And that's it. Those are my 5 picks for fragrances I think will work well for the 2023 autumn season. Of course, if you disagree with my picks, leave a comment down below. I'm expecting a lot of people to disagree with the Dior Sauvage pick, which is fine, but maybe leave a comment if you disagree with any of my other picks and maybe explain why. Also, you can write your fall fragrances which you will be wearing in the upcoming fall season. I would very much like to read that. Of course, if you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. If you disliked the video, leave a thumbs down, and maybe give me some suggestions on how I can improve my content. Subscribe if you want to see more wristwatch or fragrance related videos. And until next time guys, have a great day and